Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast. My name is Nate. Joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, how are we doing today?
Nate, we're doing pretty good. Shout out to Jacob Bridgman for winning the Genesis Invitational. Bit of a surprise, right? Elevated event, a lot of good talent there. Tiger Woods hosted event, and that's who ultimately handed him the trophy at the end of the day. That's a pretty cool feeling. Not sure if you were able to see his interview at the end where he was like, this, surpassed all of my dreams and imagination
Yeah.
of just winning a golf tournament like this and having Tiger be the one to present you the trophy. So, it took a lot. I mean, he was drained by the end of it. He looked like he was giving it away at certain points. Absolutely gutsy approach shot on 18. That's what ultimately did him in. That lag putt for birdie was not any help to him. He left himself a
Yes.
4 footer about. That's not what you want to do. You want to leave yourself 6 inches at the most. Um, but nonetheless was able to jam it home, putted absolutely amazing all week.
Yep.
He absolutely deserved to win, so congratulations to him. And then the Magical Kenya Open shout out to Casey Jarvis on winning there. Another one where down the stretch it kind of just seemed like a toss up, and he was able to win that tournament there. So congrats to both of those guys on getting it done last week.
Yeah, Bridgman, first event you ever won on the PGA Tour, childhood looking up to this, and you win a $4 million check and Tiger Woods hand you the trophy. I don't think you can even write that up in your wildest dreams. So imagine that.
Yeah.
Casey Jarvis, good for him, bit of a journeyman, right? Been around for quite some time and got it done there in Kenya. Now he moved down to South Africa, where he is from. So he'll be one of those names worth noting at the Investec South African Open Championship. Mouthful there. We have the DP World Tour. Of course, the PGA Tour. We turn on here with the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. Don't forget the in the Palm Beaches part of this. Uh, Jake's supposed to be there. We'll see if he can get out of there with a snowstorm that rocked New York City recently. So we'll see if he can make his way down to sunny Florida and enjoy himself some golf. And I know you have a golf outing at a pretty big golf course down there too that you're looking forward to, Jake. So hopefully you get out there.
Yeah, it's scary times right now, Nate. If I can get out there, I'm packing to stay until Wednesday because it looks like there's more snow early in the week.
There we go. All right, guys. Yeah, like we said, we have a lot of golf to talk about this week. Forewarning, this could get lengthy on us here. We have about 20 unique golfers between the PGA Tour and DP World Tour between Jake and I. So if you want to fast forward, if you listen to this at 2 times X or whatever you do, go for it. We'll try to keep it as brief as possible and get through this for you guys so we don't lose you along the way. And before we ramble on anymore, Jake, where can we find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me on X at JakeOOTR, where I post all my outright betting cards. Make sure you give me a follow there. You could also join the Out of the Rough Discord, completely free, no hidden paywalls. We have over 270 members, from diehard golf fans to professional gamblers, all sharing insights that make it a super valuable resource this week. For example, we have someone who's worked at PGA National for 3 years in the Discord who gave us some good insight there. So, shameless plug to join and see what he has to say. Nate also runs our community wager tracker in the Discord. He compiles everyone's weekly picks into a clean list. It's good to see who the community's backing and celebrate who's winning. So, quick shout out to Andrew, All Tour Golf Bets, and L Gamble Golf on hitting Casey Jarvis at the Magical Kenya Open. Unfortunately, no one was on Jacob Bridgman last week at the Genesis, but we're looking to redeem ourselves as a group this week. Nate and I share exclusive content in the Discord as well, including my tournament and round matchups, along with Nate's first round leader bets. If you want the link to join, just reach out to either of us. Don't forget to check out ootrough.com for our weekly articles. Andrew covers the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. Nate covers all the tours, PGA, DP, Live, LPGA, everything. And I cover PGA, including some DFS content. Nate also has shots gained putting by grass type on the website, which is another completely free resource to have at your fingertips. And like Nate said at the top of the hour here, we're going to try to keep it brief. If you have any questions or want any more information from us, the Discord is or Twitter is the best place to reach either of us.
Yeah, you can find myself, Nate, on Twitter or X at NateOOTR. Follow Out of the Rough on all forms of social media. Search us on there, you'll find us. If you're on YouTube watching this, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening anywhere else, we appreciate you. On the website, as Jake mentioned, you can find my in-depth articles each and every week of the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, LPGA, and Live Golf. All full course breakdowns. If you're looking for anything further than what you hear in the podcast, check those out because there's a ton of information there. Beyond that, this is where we also host the Out of the Rough one and done each and every week of the PGA Tour, DP World Tour. Pick a different golfer, prize money is scoring, free to play, prizes on the line. Check that out as well. Also on our website, Andrew at All Tour Golf Bets, PGA Tour, or excuse me, Corn Ferry Tour, Hilltail Planner Tour. Great knowledgeable individual. Check him out there as well and follow him on Twitter at All Tour Golf Bets. I'm not sure we mentioned it, Cody, though, or Cody, Jake. I was thinking about Cody. In the Discord, we also have a NASCAR channel. Cody, back-to-back winners there. Tyler Reddick getting it done for him. So if you're losing money following Jake and I on golf so far, check out Cody. He'll redeem you on the NASCAR forefront. All right, here we go. A lot of talking ahead of us, Jake. So we have the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, PGA National, and this is one of those events that just constantly draws a short end of the stick. PGA National, one of the most notable and recognizable golf courses in the country. It is a historic event. The Honda Classic was here for many, many years. Of course, recently, what's it been, 3, 4 years, lost its sponsorship because it's continued to get the short end of the stick. Because we're right here between signature events, and we went Pebble, the Genesis. Now we have this. Then we're going to Arnold Palmer Invitational, the players. So this is a natural bye week for most people, and that's what we're seeing this week. And if you were to construct a betting card this morning, you would have been in shambles because anyone and everyone of note has withdrawn from this event. We've seen, what was it, Ben Griffin, Adam Scott, all those names have withdrawn from this event. So if you were in early, good for you. You got some good odds, and since then, they have only plummeted because the big names have withdrawn. All right, so PGA National has hosted this event since 2007, and this is a field that, again, isn't noteworthy. Ben Griffin has withdrawn. So we have Ryan Gerard, who is 24th in the world headlining things as the only member within the top 25 of the OWGR. We have Shane Lowry, Aaron Rye, some other notable names, if that's doing anything for you. Joe Highsmith, of course, the defending champion. He topped JJ Spawn by 2 strokes a season ago to claim his maiden PGA Tour victory. Some other former winners, we have Austin Eckroat in 2024, Chris Kirk in 2022, Keith Mitchell in 2019, and Camilo Villegas in 2010. So PGA National is a par 71 at 7,125 yards. It is short on paper, but is anything but because of its use of tight dog legs, forcing heavy dosage of forced layups because of that. So we're due to this, wedge plays essentially removed from this course with just about 11% of approach shots coming from within 125 yards. So those able to dial it in with their mid to long range irons, we're talking 125 to 200. About 54% of approach shots will come from that distance this week. So hone in on that and focus on that. The course plays as one of the most difficult courses for approach shots from 100 yards as well. This is due to the exposure of gusting winds with the combination of firm and fast conditions. To show the difficulty of this course, outside of 2 of the par 5s, all 16 of the other holes play at a scoring average of even par or worse. So it is a tough track. 2 years ago, we saw the changing of the former par 4 10th hole to a par 5. The 10th was lengthened by 20 yards and converted from a very difficult par 4 to a more scoreable par 5, now 528 yards. So it doesn't really alter the score or the result much. It just kind of adds a few more minuses to the scorecard for everyone. The course it's most known for its quote unquote bear trap stretch of holes, which is 15 through 17 here. And that plays as the 4th most difficult 3-hole stretch on the entire PGA Tour. Only Quail Hollow 16 through 18, Pebble Beaches 8 through 10, and Muirfield Villages 16 through 18 feature a tougher group of 3-hole stretches. So water is heavily featured throughout the bear trap, which includes 275-yard par 3s and a tight dogleg par 4. It does allow for some dramatic and climatic finishes down the stretch, as those chasing the leader will get the chance to take aggressive, approaches at pin locations and tight lines, as leaders are trying to minimize their mistakes and not take too many risks. So there are some chances to win this event at this stretch of holes. So last year, roughly 4 acres of fairway was removed as well, reducing them to an average width of 28 yards. So additionally, all the grass outside of the greens was also overseeded with a ryegrass. This has not been done at this course since 2014, so the rough is now about 2.5 inches. So PGA National only has a cut line above par in 10 of the last 12 editions. Last year, the cut line was -4. The medium field average has sat at even par or worse in 7 of the last 10 events. A score of -10 or less has been enough to win this event in 8 of the last 13 seasons. This is all, of course, dependent on weather and wind conditions. Last year, we didn't see much wind at all. Jake, you were there for it. But yeah, it really depends on if the wind comes into play and how this golf course can play. But yeah, it is one of the more daunting and difficult courses on the PGA Tour, which is often why some people opt not to play this golf course, especially with signature events approaching. You don't want to get down on yourself, have a tough round or two, and then go into the API or the players. So again, it's kind of a place for some unsung heroes of the PGA Tour to get a chance to win and grind it out.
Yeah, Nate, I think you covered it perfectly. I've got nothing to add there.
All right. With that being said, let's hop right into things. Weather-wise, I don't think it looks too bad this week, Jake, with some decent chance of precipitation, like 20 to 35. Uh,
Yep.
Temperatures in the 80s, some winds in the 11 or so, but those gusts really get you going. So it doesn't look like too bad this week. We'll see if that holds true. I have six guys, Jake. I think you have four, right?
Yep, that's correct.
All right, I'll kick things off here. And again, guys, we are sorry if this does get winded. When Jake and I start talking about golf, it does get carried away sometimes, but we'll try our best to hone it down for you guys. But first up here for me, it was Adam Scott with his withdrawal. Now it's Nikolai Hojgaard at 25 to 1. Full transparency, I did boost him previously because I had Adam Scott and Nikolai on the card, so I boosted him to 31.25. But on the books he was 25 to 1 straight up when I got to him. Either way, so this is a guy that is currently first on tour off the tee and bogey avoidance. He's eighth in scrambling, 17th on approach, 19th in ball striking, 27th in proximate hole from 125 to 200, 28th in par four, 50th in total driving. So he brings a total package. The putter isn't that bad. 83rd in strokes gained putting Bermuda. We last saw him in the W Phoenix Open where he finished third, also 22nd at the Farmers Insurance Open. Early this season, he played two events at the DP World Tour, fourth at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic, 52nd at the Dubai Invitational, placed 18th at this event a season ago and missed the cut in 2022. So some good results recently, good form, matches up really well, and that goes to show that 25 to 1 next to his name at Nikolai Hojgaard. Big fan of the guy. Jake and I have both followed him from the DP World Tour up through, knocking on the door, finally get it done. Nikolai Hojgaard 25 to 1 this week.
Yeah, Nate, I like that call a lot. Moving into my top play here, it's going to be Ryan Gerard at 26 to 1. That number has been absolutely slammed down just because of the withdrawals. Like we mentioned, I believe he's now like the odds-on leader with like Lowry or something crazy like that. But he ranked first in my model. He was, that at a weaker field event like that, that means it's an auto bet for me. He opened the 2026 campaign with runner-up finishes back to back. He cooled off a little bit since then, but that's not to say that he's not in good form. He had a T11 at the Farmers, T45 at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then a T28 last week at the Genesis. He's just an all-around fantastic golfer. Off the tee and with the irons, he's very solid and steady. The short game tends to be his struggle point, but he's gained with the putter in each of his starts in the 2026 season. So if he keeps that run of form going, I think that this is an event that he should be able to play really well at. He won the Barracuda Championship last year, which is another weaker field event on the season. 16th in strokes gained total, 8th on approach. That's just what I'm hanging my hat on here and hoping that he can get it done for me at 26 to 1 this week.
Yeah, now kind of one of the premier talents of this field with the Nikolais of the world, the Shane Lowrys, and I called a little flack because I don't believe the top 25 golf in the world, as the OWGR reflects. Either way, great start to the season for Ryan Gerard, and again, I don't, doubt you one bit for playing him this week. All right, moving on to some longer odds here. We're going to start things off with a guy I'm kind of a homer of now, Davis Thompson, 50 to 1. Bit of a fanboy on my end, but either way, not an ideal start to the season. Last played the Phoenix Open, 64th there, 43rd at the Farmers, missed the cut at the American Express. Also missed the cut this event a season ago, placed 47th in 2024. What I am looking at here, though, is he's 19th on tour in proximate hole from 125 to 200, 21st on approach, 26th in ball striking, 40th in total driving, 44th off the tee, 103rd in strokes gained putting Bermuda. Not that ideal, but again, this is a guy who I think is a pretty decent talent, former world number one amateur, has a win of the PGA Tour 2 years ago, the John Deere Classic, so I'm hoping he brings that form with him this week. Just again, elite ball striker with a great approach and iron play, 50 to 1 for Davis Thompson.
Yeah, Nate, it's the putter that's been crushing Davis Thompson, and I'm going to get into a couple of my picks later. This is a course where you don't need to pour in a ton of birdies, so the putter is not all that important. If you can just make par, that's a good score on a lot of these holes. So I think Davis Thompson's a great option here. But moving into my second play here, still at the top of the leaderboard, or top of the odds board, hopefully the top of the leaderboard too. It's Michael Thorbjornsen at 30 to 1. Not a guy I typically go after. He ranked 10th in my model, but he's just a promising young talent that I thought 30 to 1 was a high enough odds
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, this doesn't really make sense to me. All these early withdrawals on the top of the leaderboard make that number even better. He started the 2026 campaign with a little bit of a mixed bag, right? He opened with a missed cut at the American Express, followed that up with a T18 at the Farmers and a T3 at the WM Phoenix Open, and then finished dead last at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which did not have a cut. So from an outright perspective, that's kind of what I'm looking for. If he's going to be in contention, he's looking like he's going to win. And if he's not in contention, it's quick and painless, and I don't have to worry about it. So that's kind of exciting to me. But at the same time, you see what profile I'm going after. These guys who are phenomenal off the tee, have fantastic approach, and who could maybe just figure it out on the greens to win in a tournament like this. And Thorbjornsen is that complete package that I'm looking for. His stats on the season are really ugly, but something I want to hang my hat on here is that he's also 36 around the green. So if he's missing these greens, he can get up and down. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that he can get one of those good weeks where the putter starts to roll and maybe get it done for his first PGA Tour victory.
Yeah, promising young talent. Mentioned it 2024. I think PGA Tour University winner, so has a lot of pedigree behind him. Has been kind of knocked the door for a while, especially in this weaker
Yeah.
field events. He's going to get it done sooner rather than later. So let's hope this week for you, Jake. Johnny Kiefer, next play for me, 66 to 1. So if you're not a diehard golf fan, I know you probably have seen or heard of Kiefer at this point, but last year he was a terror in the Corn Ferry Tour with 2 victories, 5 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and 10 top 15s. So he's a real deal. He hasn't been that good on his start to the PGA Tour. Not horrible, but 41st last appearance in Phoenix. He also placed 43rd in Farmers, 27th in American Express, 61st at Sony Open Hawaii. What I do like about him, right? Here we go. Second on tour in ball striking, ninth off the tee, 10th on approach, 11th in total driving, 33rd in proximity hole from 125 to 200. Putter, this is it. This is what you have probably picked up at this point. Jake talked about it. I want elite ball strikers this golf course, good approach players, and those who are good off the tee. And then we just pray that they can find some putts along the way. That's the makeup of Davis Thompson. That's the makeup of Johnny Kiefer right here. Again, a premier young talent, 66 to 1 for Kiefer in a field like this. This is the type of events that these young guys can shine, and I'm hoping it's Kiefer this week.
Yeah, Nate. He's 4 for 4 and made cuts to start the season. A great DFS option if that's what you're looking for as well. I really like the shout there because he fits the mold that I'm looking for as well. Moving into my next play here, my third and second to last play here. Will Zalatoris 50 to 1 should come as no surprise. Ran my model. He popped his fourth. You know that I was probably betting him anyway, but for him to come in the top five of my model was just the icing on the cake for me. He's made just 2 starts this season when he's battling back from injury and recovering from that. He had a T18 to open the season at the American Express where it looked like the floodgates were open. We're seeing the old Will Zalatoris back in action here. Follow that up with a miscut at the Farmers, which was a little, disappointing in that sense. But he's making his debut at PGA National this week. I think this is a great course for his game. He's not a guy who pours in a ton of birdie putts. He's the guy who grinds it out and can win these, lower scoring events, not birdie fest. You know what I mean? Like the 10 under to 12 under to 15 under range. That's Zalatoris' wheelhouse here. What do we know about him? Elite ball striker off the tee and on approach. The around the green game also very solid. It's the putter that holds him back week in and week out. If he can get some putts rolling, again, this is a week or a tournament that I think the talent doesn't match the odds that we're getting on him. And with just 1 or 2 more good performances, we're never going to see these numbers on Zalatoris again if he is truly healthy. On the 2026 season, 12th in strokes gained total, 29th off the tee, 25th on approach, 35th around the green. Those are all fantastic stats. It comes down to the putter. I'm taking my shot at 50 to 1 in a field like this on Zalatoris. That number is still hanging around, by the way.
Yeah, I get again at this point we're pretty much picking the same golfers in different bodies. It's those who can play good grind fest golf. Will Zalatoris we talk about all the time. He's not going to win a birdie fest, but he can come out here and grind with the best of them, and that's kind of what we're doing with each and every pick that we're doing this week, Jake. And I love the Will Zalatoris play. And if it was no surprise to you that Will Zalatoris was on Jake's card, here's one for me: Tom Kim 90 to 1. And he wasn't on my card till Adam Scott withdrawn, and I always play Tom Kim in the background because I cannot have any FOMO with Tom Kim winning. Either way, though, it has been a pretty good season for Tom Kim. He's currently 34th on tour in total driving, 45th in scrambling, 53rd proximate hole from 125, 200, 56 in ball striking. We know we're getting out of Tom Kim. The putter, going to hold you back. Either way, has yet to miss a cut this season. He plays 34th at Genesis, 35th in Phoenix, 65th at the Farmers, 30th at the American Express, 61st in Sony Open Hawaii. Played a ton of golf. He's played this event once prior, 62nd in 2024. Playing a ton of golf, no missed cuts. He is trending upwards. And it's a matter of time before we start seeing some flashes and see him on the leaderboard. I'm not going to miss out on Tom Kim 90 to 1 at this event if this is worth to be the one where he finally gets it put all together.
Yeah, Nate, like you mentioned, the past couple weeks, there's been flashes of here comes Tom Kim, and then he's kind of petered off a little bit. This is a weaker field event, so I really like the call at 90 to 1. This could be the week that he's back to Tom Kim, so he's your guy. You got to go with it.
For sure.
My last play here is Mac Meissner, 66 to 1. He ranked sixth in my model this week. He was one of the first names that I picked. I like him in these weaker field events. I think a win is coming for him, and I'm not going to shy away from that. This is fifth start on the season. In his first four starts, he made the cut in each of them, highlighted by a T18 at the WM Phoenix Open. He's just an all-around guy. He's going to pop in my model week in and week out. He's about tour average or slightly above in all the categories. So off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, and strokes gained total. 57th in strokes gained total, 77th off the tee, 68th around the green, 81st on approach, 71st putting. That's about as average as you can get from a guy. And in a weaker field event at a tougher course, that's kind of what I'm looking for. If he just pops in one of those categories, the rest of the game can kind of float him through and he could possibly get his first win here, like we saw Joe Highsmith do last year.
Yeah, Mac Miser, we joke about it. He seems like your perfect fall series golfer, and that's kind of what we're looking at here is those guys who can kind of, wade the tides and get it done. And I think Mac Miser is a perfect play this week, Jake.
Yep.
All right, got two picks for you here. Jake's all out of them, so I'll just run through these real quick. Two long shots. Jesper Svensson, 100 to 1. And, Jesper Svensson's last professional win, I believe, was on the DP World Tour 2 years ago in a Singapore course. It kind of is very similar to this PGA Tour National here. It's a very grind fest, short positional golf course where you wouldn't think Jesper Svensson, who is a bomber off the tee, would have success, but he did it there. So I do like him for that. He, is again fighting for a PGA Tour card. He has conditional status, finishing 1/10th last year in the FedEx Cup standings, so he's trying to get back to a full exemption on the PGA Tour. Played two events so far this season, missing the cut in both of them, the Farmers Insurance and the American Express. Most recently played over Qatar Masters and the DP World Tour, a T24 there, so turning in the right direction. Played this event a season ago with a 32nd place finish. He is currently third on tour in total driving, fifth in ball striking, sixth off the tee, 13th in proximate hole from 125 to 200, 14th in bogey avoidance, 23rd on approach. Talked about it right there. What does he do? He's good off the tee, strong ball striker, strong approach player. 85th in strokes gained putting Bermuda, so I do like that as well. The downfall for Jesper Svensson's around the green, 156 around the green. Will need to either find green regulations regularly or find a spike there to get things done. But I like him at 100 to 1. And he was another one of those plays with Tom Kim that I put in after Adam Scott withdrawal. David Ford's my final play here, 150 to 1. He also was the most recent graduate of the PGA Tour University. We talked about it already with Michael Thorbjornsen. Ludwig Oberg was another one who won this title, so we know this is good pedigree out of these guys. David Ford out of North Carolina. He is currently first on tour in total driving, seventh in ball striking, 12th approach, 20th off the tee, 22nd bogey avoidance. And again, it's the putter for him, 153 in strokes gained putting Bermuda. Last played the Farmers Insurance Open where he missed the cut, but he was 13th at the American Express, 50th at the Sony Open Hawaii. Again, a young guy who is an elite ball striker, elite approach player. The short game, the round the green, the putting is really what's holding him back. Don't know if he has in the bag this week, but 150 to 1 is willing to take a chance on a really young and up-and-coming potential star in the PGA Tour. All right, guys, so that rounds out our cards. Again, if you want a more in-depth breakdown of why Jake or I picked either of our guys, check our articles out at ootrough.com. Full breakdowns of both of our picks there in our article series. And again, if you want to communicate with us, hit us up on Twitter. You know our handles. Ask us there or hit us up in Discord and we'll explain further there. All right, moving on to the next tournament here this week, Jake. We have the Investec South African Open Championship, the world's second oldest national open. I believe it was first played in 1893, and this year marks the 115th installment. This is a nomadic event that's rotated around various golf courses in South Africa. This week is the Stellenbosch Golf Club, which has hosted this event once previously in 1999, so new to all the field pretty much. Although last week we saw the Depleted Field Magical Kenya Open, that will not be the case this week. We have the Stars turning out, two-time winner of the season, and race to Dubai leader Patrick Reed headlines things. We have another two-time winner and South African native Jaden Schapper coming along the way as well. And of course, this is an event that has been dominated by the South Africans winning, I think, each of the last seven installments of this event. So we have a ton of notable South Africans: Charles Schwartzel, Dean Burmester, Thriston Lawrence, Brennan Gray, Sean Norris, Casey Jarvis, Michael Hollick, Henny Duplessis, Xander Lombard. The list goes on and on. If they're South African, there's a very good chance they are here this week. We also have five-time South African Open champion and golfing legend Ernie Els playing this week. We have other notable golfers: Andy Sullivan, Julian Yare, Callum Hill, Freddie Shute, Dan Bradbury, Winnie Ding. The list goes on and on there as well. Dylan Nadu is the defending champion, topping Laurie Cantor to play off a season ago. Some other former winners: you have Burmester in 23, Lawrence in 22, Daniel Van Tonder in 21, Brendan Grace in 2020, Andy Sullivan in 2015, Henny Otto in 2011, Ernie Els in 2010, 2006, 1998, 1996, and 1992, and Richard Stern in 2008. So this golf course was established in 1904, making it one of the oldest golf courses in all of South Africa. It sits in the heart of South Africa's winelands, as some shots this week will take place over vineyards. The course also offers stunning views of the nearby Heldersburg Mountains. Original designer is unknown at this point, but it was extended to a full 18-hole venue by Ken Elkin in 1953. So this golf course is a fairly flat parkland design that offers a few subtle elevation changes throughout. A par 72 at 7,000 yards, 6,986 to be precise. Fairways are tree lined, and the venue itself is known for its quote-unquote carpet-like fairways and fast greens. Water comes into play on four holes this week: the 2nd, 5th, 12th, and 18th. The opening stretch of holes will show how tough this track can be right out of the gate. The first five holes are all par fours that stretch over 400 yards. From there, golfers will face a lengthy 568-yard par five. The seventh hole is one of the course's signature holes, a downhill par three. From there, the eighth is also a signature hole known as a challenging par five, known locally as the quote-unquote snakes and grapes. A slice shot will send a ball into the bush on the right, and a hook will result in a lost ball in the vineyards on the left. The final signature hole of this venue is a tight uphill par 4 14th. Golfers will need to fade the ball off the tee, followed by a draw for the second shot, or vice versa for left-handed golfers. Although last played in 1998, the winning score was -5 there. 1999, excuse me. Jake, anything to add about this golf course before we move forward?
Nope, think you covered it all.
Okay. So we had the same amount of golfers this week, or on this tour at least, Jake, and I went first on PJ Tour, so I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah, I'm starting my card off here with Brendan Grace at 20 to 1. Just a solid, again, South African is like almost a criteria at this
Yes.
point. Like Nate said, it's very this tournament is dominated by them. But in particular, at this event, Brendan Grace is just petering the top of the leaderboard, including a win at in 2020. I've liked what I've seen on Live from him. A lot of top 10 finishes, top five finishes in recent history here. No stats on the DP World Tour yet, so not much to speak about on him in that sense, but just plays South African golf well, plays it with a lot of pride, and I think at 20 to 1, I think it's a respectable number to tee him up this week on the betting card.
Yeah, at this point, if they're South African, they're justified for a spot in your card. So I won't elaborate too much on your pick there, but a good pick, Jake. My first play here is Henny Duplessis. It's 25 to 1. Was itching the bit to get him on my card. First click this week. Fresh off a third place finish last week at the Magical Kenya Open. Also placed 15th in Qatar, 16th in Bahrain, 19th at Hero Dubai, 20th in Mauritius, and 64th at the Alfred Dunhill Championship. He didn't play this event a season ago, but he plays T25 and 23, T9 and 22, third in 2021, and T6 in 2020. Again, all at different golf courses, but again, showing he plays South African golf in this event specifically rather well. Currently third on tour in par 5, 16th around the green, 20th in green regulations. He's 22nd on approach, 58th off the tee. List goes on and on. We know we're getting. He is in some great form at 25 to 1 in this field. I thought it was a great play for Henny Duplessis to get his first South African Open Championship.
Yeah, Nate, first guy off my card, and your last point was the reason why I talked myself out of it was, this would have to be his first win on the DP World Tour, and I went with some guys with some pedigree instead, but the stars are aligning. Like you said, tournament history, recent history, all makes sense for him. Moving into my next play here, it's Nathan Kimsey at 50 to 1. I think he's going to be awfully popular this week. He has been in some fantastic form, and I think 50 to 1 is just a huge number. He finished T5 last week at the Magical Kenya Open. He had two top 25 and a top 10 finish before that. So in his last four starts, all have been within the top 25. He played this event last year where he finished T16. He also played 2 years before that and had a T43. So just some solid, some very good recent form, some solid tournament history. Ninth in driving accuracy on the tour this year, 10th in greens and regulation, 15th in stroke average. Just a lot of things that make sense for him. Not South African, so doesn't meet that criteria. But if there is someone who isn't South African who has a shot to get it done, I like Kimsey this week at 50 to 1.
Well, Jake, I thought we didn't have any crossover, but here we are. We do have crossover with
Oh,
Nathan
whoops.
Kimsey. I'm playing him at 75 to 1, a
Wow.
massive number for Nathan Kimsey. Could not ignore it. I know he's not South African, as we mentioned already, but just some great form. The stats line up perfectly for Nathan Kimsey, my lone non-South African on my card this week. So there we go. We have a double up here, Jake. So hopefully that's the one that gets it done.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, what's your next play here since we have a crossover there? Keep things kosher.
Yep. My next play here is Jacques Kruijswijk. So I played him last week. Sticking to the mold here with him again. A guy who, again, just plays really good South African golf. Just pulling up his stats. That was not great of me. But anyway, 55th in sand saves, 66th in greens and regulation, 93rd in driving accuracy, 59th in driving distance. So, he's got the good stats there. He has three top 20 finishes in his last four starts, including a T18 last week. Plays this event consistently and has some good finishes there. I believe that is four finishes in the top 25. So just another South African at 74 to 1 felt like a big number for me to take a shot on him this week.
Yeah, like you mentioned, already won once in the PJ or excuse me, DP World Tour, so has a real chance this week. Next play for me is Thriston Lawrence, 35 to 1. Just kind of a big number for what I assume to be one of the premier towns of the South African golf world. I think he's the highest rated in the OWGR, at least was before Casey Jarvis. He kind of bumped him maybe with a win there, or any of those live guys with points being added there as well. But at one point, he was the highest ranked OWGR member of the South African guys there. But he is 10th on tour off the tee, 35th in par fives, 43rd in scrambling, 44th on approach, 49th in three putt avoidance. Got a good list of everything there. 61st on putting. Last played this event in 23, where he finished T10. Prior to that, won the 2022 installment, placed T19 in 2022. 29th last week in Kenya, missed the cut into here Dubai. 10th at the Dubai Invitational, 14th at the Alfred Dunhill, and 33rd at the Nedbank Golf Challenge. Again, a big number for a guy that, again, just lost his PGA Tour card where he won it for a DP World Tour promotion a year prior, so wants to get back to that level of golf. South African has won this event before, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, Nate, not much to add there. I mean, great case for Lawrence, and I think that, like you said, South African meets the criteria. Moving into my next play here, if we were in person, I would expect you to punch me in the arm here. It's Sebastian Soderberg. I got him at
I played him
94 to
last week,
1.
so
Yeah, Nate, I bashed you for playing him last week, and then I teed him up this week. But I went down the odds board and saw a 94 next to his name after a T9 finish at the Magical Kenya Open, where he had a T5 the week before at the Qatar Masters. So just too good of form and too big of a number for me to pass up. I will be shaking in my boots if he has a lead at
oh
any
my god,
point
yeah.
because no lead is safe, and he is the epitome of that. Hasn't played this event often. He's played it twice in his career. Doesn't really have any great finishes. But again, just really good course, a really good recent form that I'm gonna try to hang my hat on and catch him at a big number for him to get over that finish line. He's 20th in stroke average, 27th in greens and regulation, 5th in sand saves, 59th in average putts per round. So has some solid stats this year, banking on the recent form at a big number to maybe get lucky.
Yeah, basically that's it. What you have with Soderbergh. You're going to get a good quality approach player. Beyond that, you're just hoping that some recent form with two top tens and a top five can carry him along the way. Next, South African on my card, Brandon Stone, 60 to 1. Again, if you haven't caught on yet, that's the criteria I'm going with. He competed in the Hotel Planet Tour last, the Janssen Workwear Open last week. A T22 there as a heavy favorite to win that. Prior to that, 36th the Qatar Master, 34th or 24th in Bahrain. Missed the cut here at Dubai, 9th in Mauritius, and 23rd at the Alfred Dunhill Championships. Is a good form there. A T16 the season ago here, missed the cut in 23, placed T59 in 22, T14 2021, and T32nd in 2020. Currently sixth on tour in both green regulations and off the tee. Seventh on approach, 27th in par 5, 73rd in accuracy. The putting is going to be your problem with Brandon Stone, 135 in strokes gained putting. But again, this is a guy who is great off the tee, an elite ball striker and iron player with some good course history, or excuse me, event history and some good recent form. So 60 to 1 is enough for me to line Brandon Stone up here.
Yeah, he was a guy who was on my short list and unfortunately got the red pen line instead of the red pen circle for me. But yeah, I see the angle with him. Again, I talked myself out of it because of the putter. But
Yes.
again, you said that the winning score at this event, when it last hosted, was very low. I believe -5, you said. So
Yes.
you're not going to need to be able to pour, you're not going to need to pour in a ton of putts to win.
That
And
was
Stone fits the criteria.
27 years ago. So we'll see if it holds true by then with modern technology and advancement of the game. But either way, yes.
Yep. Moving into my last play here, long shot Luke Brown at 200 to 1. Didn't know much about this guy. I wanted a long shot South African, so I dug into a few things. And I found this guy who has three top five finishes in his last four starts and has a top 10, the one that's outside of it, including a T3 last week at the Johnson Workwear Durban Open. So his last four starts were on the Challenge Tour where he had those great finishes. He made a start on the Alfred Downhill Championship on the DP World Tour back in December where he finished T23. So it looks like he has the ability to compete with some of these DP World Tour mainstay guys. He's played this event three times in his career. A T23 last time in 2023, a T35 back in 2020, then a miscut also in 2020. There were two renditions of this event back then or in that year. So again, just really good form on the Challenge Tour. Maybe he can get lucky and get it done on the DP World Tour at 200 to 1 here.
Yeah, not much to add about a 201 guy here. You found your long shot. You're going to hang your head on it and go with it. So my longest shot this week is Daniel Van Tonder at 100 to 1. Again, a big number for a guy I just could not leave out there. If we're looking back at South African golf, Daniel Van Tonder plays some of the best South African golf you can think of. If we start the season of the Hotel Planet Tour season ago, he won both the STC Open and the My Golf Life Open. He placed T6 at the LC Cape Town Open and ninth at the NTT Data Pro Am. Take a look back earlier this season where he played his best golf against South Africa, a T10 at a loaded Nedbank Golf Challenge field, and T14 at the Alfred Dunhill Championship. 61st a season ago, a week ago in Kenya, 52nd at Qatar Masters, missed the cut at the Babco Energies Bahrain, and 15th in Mauritius. He has not been great at this event, however, missed the cut in both 2025 and 2023, placed T64 in 2021, missed the cut in 2022, did win in 2021, but please note that that was a lone Sunshine Tour event that was not co-sanctioned with DP World Tour that season. So either way, he does have a victory of this, if you want to look at it that way. He's currently first on tour in par fives, 23rd on approach, 24th around the green, 30th off the tee, 51st in accuracy. Again, it's the putter. Why not? 140 for in three putt avoidance, 145th in strokes and putting for Daniel Van Tonder. But again, a guy who plays South African golf really well, 100 to 1. I could not leave it out there.
Yeah, Nate, can't fault you for it. Big number, South African guy, checks those boxes there. So I like the call there on Van Tonder.
All right, and I think that's it, right, Jake?
Yep, that is it.
Look at that. We got through all those names. We found a crossover we didn't even know we had along the way. But yeah, again, we sped through all of that. So if you're looking for a more in-depth explanation about either of our picks on the PJ Tour or DP World Tour, check out our website, ootrough.com. You'll find both Jake and I's full articles on there, full breakdowns, full explanations. Again, you can also hit us up on Twitter at our handles or our Discord, and we will gladly talk to you about anyone. But yeah, Jake, anything to add here before we get off here?
No, think you covered it all.
All right. Well, I hope for your sake, Jake, you can get out of the city and get down there to Florida, spend some time in the sunshine, play some great golf, and watch some great golf, hopefully, and hopefully cheer along a winner along the way.
Yep, that's the hope.
All right, Jake. One more time, where can people find you on social media?
Yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I share all my outright betting cards. I'd also encourage you to join the Out of the Rough Discord, 100% free with no hidden paywalls. The community includes 270 plus members and is an excellent free resource to have at your disposal. Just reach out to Nate or myself, and we will get you the link to join that.
Yeah, there's so much in that Discord. 275 members right now. Let's keep making that push to 300. Let's continue to make this. I believe, I may be a little biased. This is the best community in all of golf betting, maybe in all of betting, period. But again, golf betting, NASCAR betting, we have the best community. It is not hostile in the slightest in there. It is fun, you know, very informational, along with having a great banter along the way. A lot of great friendships and inside jokes we've made along the way. So just check it out. Even if it's just download, take a look at it. If you want to leave, or mute it, whatever you want to do. It's just a great tool to have your fingertips. Be sure to check out our website, ootrough.com, for some more fantasy golf and golf betting content. Jake covers the DFS side of things with his full betting card and his article there. I cover every tour imaginable pretty much. We also have Andrew with the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour along the way. But yeah, you can follow myself, Nate, on X at NateOOTR, and we'll see you all next time.